previously.
All right, well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Time to get into it as I send you over to Pansy and Moses again for all the action from Miramar.
Thank you very much. We are darn excited to, one, get this out of the way, and two, your angle's next, so things get a little bit, you know, a little bit more beautiful. We get the lush green rolling hills. For now, though, we go to the arid desert, and we have a lot of options available. That is one big bonus to this. That playing path does keep plenty of these teams happy. I'm curious about Rec, and I'm curious where people go if anyone switches things up or goes something different, and that first circle is going to be hopefully something interesting.
I imagine that Rec is looking for vehicles and headed to Puerto Paraiso, so that's kind of what we indicated early. They do just decide to drop out early, and in this case, going south to north. Not a lot of options all the way south, as the island is not their favorite, or not anyone's real favorite, looting spot in this stage, and it's going to remain empty method, finding their way easily into Picado. And we are in the standard circle at this stage for Miramar, rather, which is a somewhat northwest and centered first circle.
Yeah, now, we saw this a good few times in day one in Group B. Now, I can imagine Sauna Boys are happy. Red Diamond's happy. Anyone who kind of has that, especially western side to themselves, Toxic in theory should be happy. They don't get too much contest up there towards Oasis and such and so on. We do see a little bit of an early scuffle coming out here. Simsy and co have been having a bit of a rough time, if you want to say the very least about them. They did survive quite some way. The longer they stick around, you can see a couple of players here, or at least one player, I think he's on his own, moving into this. I don't know what he's heard or what he's seen.
He's just running in.
But Ultra, he's still hanging around. Ultra's here. Has he heard the steps?
Mini versus Mutant. We'll see who wins.
He heard the steps. He's holding the angle.
Oh, 100% he can hear the steps. Galatasaray is being overly aggressive with the Mini. I mean, it's a single-shot rifle. He's got backup coming, however, but it is a 2v1 situation. They're just holding, waiting to see if they're going to try and breach in here. But for Besiktas,
Simsy might see the rifle.
This is strange early aggression, but warranted, I suppose.
If it works out, he's got a glimpse. There we go. And I don't see a helmet on the other players.
Oh, what are you doing?
What are you... Oh, Simsy, can you stop making such a mess? What happened with that plan? Tries to get through the window in one and just gets caught on it, completely opening up. Now, Ultra is put in a dire position. They've been surrounded on all fronts. It was looking okay for Besiktas. They could have held at least that little bit of an angle between each other, but now it looks like it could be all but over. Ultra has been put truly to the test now. You can see Ims is being very... Yeah, of course he is. And Ims is going to be there. Ultra does get down one. He's going to confirm that. That's not bad, but there's surely only so much he can do. He's trying to clutch this out himself. He is going to be the turret here. That's 2 kills for him. Is there another to follow? 12 bullets left. He can't do it. Retired FPS will shut down Ultra, but there was a world in which I saw that going even worse than what I expected.
I cannot believe that Simsy tried to jump out the window there. I mean, that is 100% a bot play. I cannot believe he did that. I mean, I don't even think they got a... Did they get a flush out of it as well? They did, so there's that at least. But did he flush the second one as well? Potentially. I mean, if he was able to secure 2 kills for his team, but I think just the one. But that is not a play you expect to see at this level.
It seemed desperate. It seemed like that kind of, I need to prove something. I need to get into this. So I'm surprised seeing it from these sort of players. Again, they're experienced. I just expected a little bit more from that caliber of player to keep their head, keep cool, keep calm. We'll see if that actually does bite them in the arse down the line. Obviously, it's not what you want. M249, level 3'd up. Always nice, but I don't see anyone nearby.
Yeah, that's Besiktas is they've been able to salvage rounds in the past. They actually, you know what? Looking at it, Tamil and Lux are very far away in Impala. So even I guess the split loot strategy, I'm not sure why they wound up at Power Grid. I don't know. I'll have to talk to the boys after the game here. I just don't understand what the game plan was there. But regardless, maybe they'll be able to salvage the round they did it in the last game. So for Besiktas, we got to turn it around. You can't be throwing these rounds.
I mean, the win conditions, depending on Erangel, are getting more and more. There's only so many teams we can go, well, don't worry, they'll be fine once they get there. It's you still have to get there. You still have to get to that point. I'm getting a little worried for some of these teams that should be starting to come into their own. However, all that aside, let's kind of take stock of what we're seeing thus far. Rec did indeed go to Porto, so they will be getting the loot. Eventually, they'll be working their way there. They will have to get a move on. Again, they do like to go for their kind of reflex drops, I guess, these days. Wherever the plane goes, they're first out, and they'll go wherever is complementary to that. It does get you screwed over by circles sometimes because you're on the extremities of the map. So they do have cars, so they'll be perfectly fine. The other teams starting to consider if they want to go early, it's time to go now. There's probably already teams mostly taking over the very central real estate, the very central compounds. Mostly will have players in there. We do see Method on the move. Another team who had a little bit of an issue. Andy put in a wonderful individual performance, but not quite enough to convert that into much more. Odense, another team who didn't have the hugest of first games today, but they've done wonderfully in day one. So eyes towards them if they can maybe convert something more here.
Looking at the center of the zone, seeing actually an interesting spot here. TC again finding a center position, and they played it well, as best they could at least, last game and in the run at Toxic Players. I would imagine here that, again, the north-south split would be a good strategy to try and take as much map control as possible. But the initial rotation phase, relatively underway, but there's not a lot of clear path through either side of the zone. Maybe coming in on the eastern side might be a little bit more clear. If your Method feeling okay, you are actually they're kind of rejoining in Power Grid, so that should be a good hold for them if they want to stick in that spot.
And it will be noted that they have played that, especially on if you looked at day one, they were playing out of Power Grid on quite a regular basis. They did get caught up there when they tried to rotate off. It was generally not this circle, maybe the next one if it did hard shift or move away from them. They got caught a couple of times. Hopefully they've refined that, looked over maybe some of the demos and gone over whatever they wanted to, and they've come up with a bit of a plan here. So hopefully that's happened since day one. Now on the other side of things, we're seeing all the teams again starting to consider, is it time to go now? I guess we need to kind of work out where we want to be. And it does look as though a lot of the central real estate, very much pinpoint of that circle currently, is already taken over. So Team Chargers, very quick at getting central. They love a bit of it.
I think they maybe have some level of control, at least here as well. I would like to see for Team Chargers, after the back of a pretty decent game, they exert some control, at least on the Power Grid, in this nice little transitory spot that they have. This road, oftentimes you'll see traffic coming down from either side. I don't know if anyone's going to crash down the center here, but there's so much high and low. You can see the Sauna Boys on the map. They have had a relative ease in controlling high ground, and I think they're going to do the same here along the edge of where Team Chargers is down below. And Andy is going to get gifted a crate. That's what he wants, so he's going to go. That's easy for Andy, as they say.
What does he have in here? See level 3s. Do I see a gun? Do I see a gun get picked up then?
I think so. I didn't
see what it was.
Here comes Lux and Tamil. Kazakhstan in rotation. That's a lot of damage onto the buggy. Hopefully Lux can keep it under control. I think it can be wily, to say the least.
Certainly can be. And they need to keep all their players up and standing as much as they can. Maverick on the go too. Is he alone in this one? I think he is. No one else there with him. Scouting out compounds potentially and getting themselves in towards the best position. Rec very late on rotations. If you're wondering where they are still in the blue currently. Scoom's just left. It's they're quite far off. Fast rail. It'll be Maverick joining into him. They found their compound that they want. They're happy with that.
Nice park job.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I didn't want to mention it. We do see the rest. Besiktas working their way forward. Tomil and Lux, as you said, the damage did come through towards that buggy early on. So they have to be a little bit careful. You don't want to give too much up. And, well, Sammy's certainly going to hear this one. Not going to get a line of sight on it, even if they do get onto the top of the... what do you call those buildings? I call them Macintosh. They kind of look like old maps.
The God buildings?
Yeah. You call them God buildings?
Yeah, the concretes?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the God buildings.
See, I like to say Mac. It's one syllable.
Oh,
hold on. Orkan could be in for a bit of fun here. So he's got teammates behind him as well. He's not alone in this. Flak is there.
Ooh.
And that's not bad. Pushes the bike away from Tomil, so he's going to have to consider his options. Does he want to stick around in this fight? Does he have the required information?
They had to stop. That was a smart play. They had to stop there, and they're probably going to want to back this off and just try and reroute Tamil. Ooh, if he can get away, try and rejoin Lux. If they can keep 2 up here, that should be okay for Besiktas. It should shift. I mean, they're actually essentially having to hedge their bet on it shifting north, but they do have a lot of attention coming their way. So for Besiktas, this is what they need. Rough start, but play conservative, hold on to a building, and chill. Team ready. They can hear shots above. Not a lot of direct line of sight. Iro and the squad. Looking up towards, I believe, I didn't see who that was above them. I think that's Forza up there. And they're going to have to just maintain position, really. This is a lot of action for 11 minutes in Miramar. I mean, the initial rotation phase has been kind of punishing. I think that's due to the fact that most players are choosing to crash center. Yeah. The edges of the map relatively empty except for Odense.
Yeah, we will keep our eyes on this. Again, there is still enough room that teams can just kind of posture for this. They haven't had to fully commit. It would be very surprising to see team wipes. It could be things like people getting knocked, potentially, and maybe losing out on 1, maybe 2. Full team wipes might be a little far yet, and there's going to be a lot of quick rotations here, because that northern side is going to be pretty much sparse, and they know that at this point. They know it's been very much a central mass grab here. Sauna Boy's in an interesting spot, too. You have 2 players very northern side on the crater. Toxic in a nice position, too. Forza did find one of Team Ready on the way, so this could be a lot of teams getting caught on rotations, and that is exactly what's happened. G-Power claims the kill as well, so that's a nice bit of points in the pocket for Forza Esports. So they're going to get that on the go. Team Ready just have to accept their losses. They are not in a great position yet if they want to take a fight. It's risky charges getting charged down. Chris from the... I'm not sure if that was close by. He was quite far away. These tags are great coming out. Truffelli's heard all this. And this could be a surprise. Ooh. This could be a third party. Truffelli, he knows kind of where they are. The nade bounces up and over, but it's not close enough. And a bit of an awkward exchange.
Oh,
Tomil?
No. Tomil's down to a vehicle crash. He likely got caught in rotation again. Lux is in a vehicle. They had hard cover. I'm not sure why Besiktas is driving around. Must have been necessity. Not sure. I'm gonna go out there and talk to them in the break and see what's going on. But it's this is not a good round for Besiktas.
No, they've had a bad start, and it's kind of stuck along that sort of trajectory.
Maybe tilting. I don't know.
It honestly could be. Day 1 went badly. Come into day 2, first game goes not to plan, and then you're just playing individual games. There will be a lot of individuals, it seems like. There's 16 teams of 57 players, so you can imagine there's a couple of teams who've lost out on a lot of these members. Method catching a couple on the way through, so they're trying to be the gatekeepers here. They're still in a very good position, quite central towards the southern side of it, but still in a nice spot. I don't see too much range, though. I still see the ARs out for them. I don't know if they've got good scopes on them, though. That could be something they're depending on, and we do see Forza potentially being challenged again. Lovely little spot, enough cover they can work off. Good weaponry, too. 24 in play, mini as well. Everything you kind of want at this point.
Normally at this stage of the game, you'll see a little bit of trades here and there, but 57 alive. We've lost a couple of players, and normally you wouldn't see this much action or this much trading, or especially in rotation, until at least 10 minutes from now, where we get to that really crazy phase of the game. But the whole northwestern side of the map is relatively uninhabited, so there's a lot of pressure along the eastern side in the bowl and around San Martin and just outside of it. So for teams like Reciprocity, they're actually in rotation out in vehicles trying to get along the north side. Maybe they're starting to recognize how much pressure is there.
Wait, look at this rotation from Rec.
That's what I'm just talking about is how they can now skirt around that side and avoid the pressure cooker that's mounting on the east.
I'm curious how many meds Rec have, because they were in the blue for an extremely long time from first circle. Yep. They eventually got there, but now they're kind of dipping back in. I don't know how much. Yeah. It is. If you want to play long game, they are playing a great game in that factor. Andy has found a beautiful death, and I think that was kind of a beautiful death.
Not the one he's used to.
No. He is. I think he was kind of scouting, or they just assumed maybe this compound was empty. I don't know what the choices were there. It felt very, very weird, and that Iro and Sixmo have got themselves to relative safety and found themselves a position they could potentially collapse towards Methodon, but Sauna Boys could third-party them. It's a very, very precarious situation now across the map.
For Sauna Boys, they're doing that north-south 2-2 split. Really smart play by them. They're hedging their bets. They have high ground on both spots, not to mention a compound. I think that collapsing for them would be a little bit difficult if they do get a really hard shift. We will see that next transition coming relatively shortly here in about a minute. So for Sauna Boys, if they can maintain this position, or at least maintain their pressure, not lose anyone in rotation, they should. Well, they don't really have to rotate. If they don't have to collapse too far, I should say, this should be good control for them here in the mid game. Reciprocity coming in on the northwest side, and they just have to chill.
Look at that west side when it comes to San Martin. There's so many teams. We're starting to go across it. You can see obviously them littering the map. All of these hillsides have names popping up. Most people have enough range. So we're going to be seeing so many knocks, so many helmets taken off. I'm curious by end game how many of these teams with this amount of kind of light fights happening. No one's fully committed. We haven't seen a team go out yet. I'm curious to see how much people have going into late game. There could be a lot of teams struggling towards late game, Rek in a nice spot. M19 potentially okay. Odense have the similar idea towards the northeast. You can see them scattering the northern side. Swan and Boys up there. If it does shift south, well, Rek are going to have a long way to go, as will those players in the northeastern side. But beyond that, this so far is looking like a good game. This could be a very explosive next circle if it moves. We're going to have a good couple of teams having some issues there. But Rek are laughing. Still good enough positioning for maybe 4 or 5 of these teams.
I wonder if they try and press into this open compound on the western side. Red Diamond's already making that press. This is the type of play I like to see from Red Diamonds, where they have immediate transition, rather, as they try and take a very strong compound on the western side. They're going to jump off their vehicles and wait. Doing it with Moonwolf, they're trying to find a little bit way into the zone. But now Sauna Boys, we mentioned them earlier, they're collapsing onto Tiksu and Nuki. And they have a compound to hold, but they get a lot of attention from both Team Ready and Team Chargers.
Hearing all these shots, you're putting together mental pictures as it goes on. Minox is up there.
They made it.
Sauna Boys have made it through. Quite surprisingly, honestly, there was a lot of pressure and a lot of eyes towards them, but
low ground. It's a tough compound to defend.
It's going to be interesting how well this goes to them. Iroh's certainly considering what he can achieve out of this. If someone peeks, that could be a knock coming out of it. Unlikely to get confirmed kills unless you're very swift on that. Another drop comes in towards the southern side. That could be Forza's potentially. I don't know how many others have seen this. It's not really in an area you'd be looking towards. M249, Andy, though, is the one to find Iroh. That was an earlier fight that kind of continued to happen. We saw a beautiful death get pulled out by the Method side. And you can see them pretty much kings of the hill right now. Scoom to find one of the red diamonds. That's in the meantime.
The sand people up there.
Sorry, what?
The sand people. You know, from Star Wars?
I really don't like Star Wars that much.
That's okay. There's sand people in it. They're
Gotcha.
They do these things.
They do sand things?
Yep.
Cool. I'm leaving you with this now.
Well, I'm just saying.
You've outed my...
You know, that's what happens in Star Wars. If you knew the reference, you know, you would understand. He shoots down from above. You know, it disables or he smacks a guy in the face. I actually don't really remember exactly what happened. They're sand people, all right?
Got it. All right, it's a thing. Northern side is going to be fun if Odense decide to engage towards Rek, but it looks like Rek are eyeing up a compound that potentially the Red Diamonds want as well. Not sure who's getting there first. It looks like Scoom and Haxedi have pulled up and put the little flag in it. Said, that'll be ours. And Odense have watched all this happening, and Shiv has just taken one down, so they're well aware of who's watching them from the hills. It doesn't seem to matter. The southern side is a lot of shifting, a lot of posturing, a lot of puffing up the chests and trying to claim the ground that's available.
A lot of sniping happening here, both in the chat and in the game, as Reciprocity is actually, they did take the compound right out from underneath the Red Diamonds, so that's a good get for Scoom and the boys. They've left Shiv back on the crater, looking back to see if anyone's at the north. He's getting attention from Red Diamonds. Driftley and the rest of Accelerate, they're still in their vehicles. They're not quite ready to find a way into the zone just yet. It's going to be tough for them. Lux is actually, he's headed all the way north. I'm not sure where Lux is headed to. Besiktas is a little bit scattered right now, but it's going to be M19 coming in through the crater as well. So this high ground position is kind of is just not quite certain just yet.
Yeah, it does seem a little bit unstable. Waiting to see if they really have many challenges. It looks like M19 do have one of the players engaging someone, and the SLR is fine on that. Toxic, not too far off, able to achieve that from the low ground, shooting up. I guess just a player silhouetting is an easy enough target. XMPL was scoring that. It looks like they're going off on this too. They're moving up on that.
Accelerate Gaming, they're making a lot of noise coming up towards M19. Konstantinovic is also in his vehicle, so this is going to be a relatively free, unless one of them blows up, mind you, skirt up the hill. And it's going to be actually another kind of hardship. This is giving a big advantage to Team Chargers and the Sauna Boys as well. So again, this is where things get really spicy in Miramar. Hit it into minute 21, and
still 16 teams.
There's still a lot of people alive. 54. We've only lost 3 in the last 6 or so minutes. And the edges are now, if you're not in the zone, you're feeling left out in the cold. In the desert, it's hard to do that. But for the Sauna Boys, they're in the low ground. They've got a lot of control where they're at.
Certainly do. And again, guys at home, I do understand apparently the stream is dropping a couple of frames. Hopefully that gets all back on track for you guys. And we'll be continuing as we go on.
Lux is in the blue.
He's desperately trying to stay alive here. I don't know how much
just not their
do.
round,
it's chunking.
Just
no,
not their
it's
round,
really not. The blue's moving again. Even if he gets in, he's going to have to go through 2 teams. I think he's got 1 big heal remaining he can try and go for. And Connell.
This is going to be the hardest 16th place that, oh, he might make it. Yeah, he's going to sneak in there. So Lux, if he can hang on and just avoid a 16th place finish, it'll be a victory for Besiktas, in my opinion.
It would be. Iroh's doing his best to keep very much relevant for Team Ready. Quite aggressive considering there's only 2 of them left. 6mo opens the door for him. They shut it. He heals. He backs away. And the hillside has just got so many people up in there. There's so many players just littering the hillside. Sauna boys are engaging. Don't know how many of these are going to connect. It's one of the players further back here. M19 trying to find the next position they could potentially go to. Anything free, anything available. They actually might have found a bit of a position.
Careful.
If that's not where they wanted to be. They want to be in that position down there, which it looks like they're heading towards. We'll be seeing, again, a lot of these sniper rifles, a lot of these DMRs doing very well currently.
Yeah, it really has been a factor of these high ground locations. You're going to see a lot of these long distance trades, a lot of headshots, a lot of broken helmets. Here comes Trifley. He's going to find the Wanderer, take him out very easily. That's going to be some much needed loot there for Trifley. Oh, Rafi. Again, Rafi's been playing really well today. Here comes the follow-up grenade, see if they can find anything. Try and confirm the kill at the very least. Not going to happen just yet. Does damage. Oh, that nade bounced right in front of Rafi's face. He's going to try and dodge away and around. And there's another nade being just traded. And they're not going to get the res, so that's a kill going to Reciprocity and a trade coming on to Shiv. Really
nice control from G-Power. Considering the range on that spray wasn't particularly close, you're really having to work for it. But you're seeing so many teams joining in. There's so many potential third parties. Udensa in the hillside could potentially come through if they have range on this. Skoom trying to work his way forward, keep some pressure building. Rafi's doing the same, AK to hand. He catch a glimpse of G-Power there. He might have done. He certainly heard that. Now the push comes in. G-Power could be in trouble here. Haxeti did get knocked though, so this is still very much up in the air. Rekka not in a great position. Haxeti does get pretty much found here. G-Power, though, third party comes through. That could have just saved one of the members of Rec here.
This is another really tough circle to manage. They're so high and low. Everyone's scattered around trying to flank. This is Miramar in a nutshell where you just can't quite get line of sight without someone else shooting you in the back. And for retired FPS, he's confirmed another kill. We're at 45 alive, still 16 teams in. Lux is still alive, and believe me, ladies and gentlemen, even though I was a little hard on Simsy early on, I'm cheering for Besiktas here.
The first team out.
Yeah, I don't think we haven't seen anyone go eliminated yet, so Lux might be able to avoid, and he does take down one player from Odense, so Lux is not out of this game yet. He's going to get the finish as well.
Yeah, this is Jotdan has been found. I'm going to try and do some bad Danish for you. You're welcome. Ali stays alive somehow. That's the surprising thing to me. He was able to do some work from that little bit of a crater that he had, and keeps basically 16 teams alive. Everyone's being just forced to get closer and closer. Cup of Magic got knocked earlier by, I think it was one of the Method boys, who are still very nice on the circle. New circle comes in. Sauna boys, even though it's low ground, have really nice hard cover. Everyone else is going to, that northern side, Moses, I don't know what they're going to do on that.
Well, I mean, you're all running downhill, and Reciprocity has a bit of a hold. They've been taking a lot of shots and doing a lot of damage themselves. Now there's a lot of solos starting to show up on the map. Lux is one of them, retired FPS. Forza, it's Ali is there. And M19 seems to be in vehicles a lot at this stage of the game. They're just trying to make their way in, maybe find a shack to hold on to. Looks like they will be able to get in. Lead player and Constantine taking a lot of damage on the way in, but they should be able to find that hard cover. That's a good pickup for them on the edge of the zone. But, oh, Rafi has a direct line of sight, just trying to pile into that shack.
But look at the attention it's drawing. Unsa are just off towards the northern side of them. Everyone's so close by. Curage gets one down, or he gets down, excuse me, by the nade from Wellers. Chris is there, still there towards Fast Rail, but look at Moonwolf creeping up on the back lines. This is huge. Edu does find one. Is there more to be found? Minox gets knocked and flushed straight away. Not going to be getting away with anything at this point. Rex still on the go. Lux gets downed. We are finally seeing the first team fall. With Lux going down there, the first team out. We're 25 minutes in. Now Red Diamonds goes down. It's all falling apart. The House of Cards is coming tumbling down. The nade could be potentially quite good. Method are still quite far away, but if they could maybe get a little further on those nades, that could be good. We'll keep our eyes on the kill feed. We're switching over to Odense. They're trying to fold towards Rex. Skoom's starting to explode this out. Shiv and Rafi are off to the side. Not much cover to play with, and they're shooting uphill here. Look at Brimmy. He's so aggressive, but Skoom denies him. forces him off the angle, but Scoom gets traded on.
Wow.
We are not going to see this go away yet. Shiv, smart
Nice
play,
flank.
aggressive. He's got to get in there fast. He's getting tagged in the back lines.
Oh.
Oh, he goes down.
Oh,
It's M19.
The third partying happening on this map is insane. Raffy's going to try and sneak up and finish
saw
off Odense. Oh, the headshot is there. Doesn't land it just yet. Raffy's going to want him to wrap around. He's got to be very aware, however, that third party. He's just lost a teammate. He's going to back off, maybe go for the res. Odense is going to push across. He's got to decide. He turns his back on the enemy. This is very dangerous.
He's going to peek. Raffy spins. He gets the tag, not the frag. He might have bought him enough time. The blue is moving in on them. He's going to have to make up his mind. He confirms the kill. Krillian is still alive, though, and he's now down. He's got to know that Raffy now needs to run to Scoom, and if he wants the res, maybe he can get it. I'm not sure how much time he's got on that one, but Wick's just been caught by Moonwolf as well. They were lurking in the back lines. Iroh's still alive here. That player had been going on for such a long time. Edu now, he's caught their attention a little too much. Andy has had enough. He's going to fight this one back. Chris is with him. Wick's bleeding, but it doesn't matter to them. They want to get this kill. They want to get rid of them. They want that pressure off their back. And there it goes. That's good play. That's assertive play.
Oh,
but the nade, if that went a little further, that could have been deadly. Chris out on his own, a one shot. It looks like O'Connell could punish this. Chris needs to hold this. He can allow them to peek over and find Andy or Wick. We do see Lai going down. The revive is coming in. That's going to be Rezu back up. O'Connell could save the day. Edu crawls his way down.
Good D.
If the nade comes in from Chris, if he wants to try and push this, it'd be a very risky play. I don't think that's in the best interest here. In the back lines, Raya potentially moving up closer, hearing all of this fight. They could be stealing these kills. And I think that's the tags on towards Wick coming in. Wick's in trouble. They have to pick their fight. Wick goes down. No. We're going to see so many fights on so many fronts. Moonwolf are back in the action, healed up and ready to go.
Chris.
They're going on the counter push. Chris, it's all on you. Can you stop it? No, it's all Andy. He's got a 1v3 to handle. He's done everything he can. It is not enough. They fall down, and Moonwolf on the prowl behind them do everything they can to ruin Method's hopes.
Rise was the linchpin there for that fight for Method. Essentially what had to happen there. Chris did a great job of the initial res, making sure that Moonwolf did not press over the ridge. He kept them there, but they were rezzing in the meantime. Andy did complete the res. Wick did come back up, but Rise getting that down back onto Wick basically forced Andy to go back into defensive mode, and then by that time Moonwolf had already finished their res. They were back up med. Chris could not defend against the push, and that was it for Method. It was a really good try by Method, honestly. That was well played by them.
It's very hard to balance this out. Right, we are down to 9 teams. It's circle time. Let's have a look at what we've seen, because that was very action-packed and a lot happened in the meantime. Moonwolf are going off. It looks like the 2 remaining players are just going all out. They've caught out Toxic, who have now been eliminated. That is them gone. Those last 2 are the 2 remainders, but they do have Team Ready in their way. There's still 2 players left alive for them. This will be a replay. I can keep you up to date with what goes on. This was Toxic finding Team Chargers. Moonwolf did just find Rice, so they're still going. They're in a bit of a fight on 2 fronts, so they're not getting away without losing casualties. Rezu just went down. That was to 6mo, Team Ready there. We do have Washout still alive, so he's your last man standing for this one. Cup of Magic, how are you alive here? You have about 4 million players shooting at you, but rabbit out the hat, he stays alive. Don't know where that's going to go. It's ambitious. And Scoom and Raffy still standing.
Still dealing with the M19 players in the shack. I think they're going to try and nade over, try and get something to happen here. That's Cup of Magic being eliminated by Razor Edge, or sorry, excuse me, Razor Edge being eliminated as Tixu takes him down. You have to wonder, looking back at that Method fight, if Andy doesn't go for the res, just leaves Wick down, and they go for the 2v1, pushing over that ridge might have been a little bit of a risk, considering how much they could have got third party coming over that ridge. Yeah. You just never understand when you can never really see how many lines of sight are available in this map. So for Method, that's a coin flip, I have to think.
And they obviously, we have full vision, so it's all good and well everyone in chat being like, they should have done this, they should have done that. We see all of it, we get all the information, all the hindsight 20/20 and all that good stuff. So I mean,
we should just listen to the chat. They're normally always right.
Oh, you are correct. I mean, spot on. This is again the replay from I'm pretty sure the Moonwolf fight. We saw a little bit of this. Yeah, I think it's maybe Team Ready engaging back towards them, because I think Rezu got caught on this one, and it was 6mo who found him out and confirmed the kill too.
Seeing what's happening in this, we see the replay overlay, and there we go. That's what happened. So for M19, I'm liking their chances now. They've got the zone, Reciprocity in a similar position, but they're going to have to deal with who they see. Iroh has been very active with that mini, trying to keep as much pressure on as possible on the Sauna boys, who are still up with 4. They got the benefit of the zone.
Does feel as though they are probably in the most prime position, unless something horrifically goes wrong. That northern side should just kind of crumble amongst itself. Sixmo's going to spot out fairly, and easy little one-tap for him. Not too shabby at all, but it's trying to create a path further forward. You've got the Sauna boys in a way. You've got them completely lined up on this side. They're trying to not just fight completely uphill. You have about 2-3 teams still on the top of this hillside. You have, I think the Finns are up there. You've got M19 up there. And I think Scoom and the lads are still in play. Iro on the move. And Sixmo, you can see Iro trying to hold the line while Sixmo moves up. But they've caught everyone's attention. This is not fun for them anymore.
Iro will have to, well, clutch, I was going to say. But and that's that. So Iro's down, Sixmo's down. That's team ready down and out. So for the Sauna boys, they're picking up lots of kills. And now they're going to make their way up the side of the hill. And their map control on the low side is pretty good. I don't know if they want to maintain this or if they want to get aggressive, try and get upside. And looks like that's exactly what they want to do. The Finnish aggressor's coming up. And speaking of which, here's the solo Finnish aggressor, Squeaky. He's coming up behind M19. And surprise, there it is. And the quick flush. Oh, maybe not flush. He's looking for, he maybe heard a footstep. There it is.
Nice. Here comes the trade though. Rafi, look how aggressive he is. I'm really into the aggression. Sadly, it backfires because the Sauna boys are there, but the theory was nice, but the Sauna boys are going off. That's now an eliminated team. Accelerate Gaming are done for. That was a solo man still alive. We're down to 4 players up against so few. This is Sauna boys surely from start to finish. I don't see M19's player doing anything here. I do not sadly see Scoom doing much here. The nade, so close.
There.
Anyway, yeah, they've spotted him out. The second he stands up, moves. The nade, is it good? It is. Jorski finds it. It's going to be a 1v4. How spicy are you feeling, Elite player? Because I'm not certain, mate. I'm not.
Oh, that nade.
Oh, my God.
Oh, can you imagine the bounce in the window? Oh, my God. That was on track, but this is now looking like Sauna boys have this game in the bag, and they have the low side flank coming in. Elite player season. They might get this one for free if Teeks is not careful, but there's 3 other angry Finns coming up the other side of the hill. Oh. And Elite player does not have a lot of options.
He's been spotted.
He's going to, take one. Take a couple of shots anyway.
He's reading this well, don't you?
Yeah, no, he's reading his demise.
Yes, you're not going to do much more. You're in a 1v4 as much as us casters like to lie to you and tell you there's hope and dreams.